Hello, hello, hello. I'm sitting here with my papa dog. Yes. That blanket behind him, has exactly his colors. He it's almost like total he blends in with the colors. Like mimicry. It's very interesting. So, yeah, I'm sitting in the living room with my Chromebook because it is so cold that I'm not gonna heat up the upstairs, so I'm just gonna stay here. We're heating this living room up, and why heat up another room if we don't have to? And the bill was already 122 something, so for this last month it's pretty high. I mean, for people who are living green, that is, I bet other people have very high bills. We already do what we can to cut down on electricity as good as we can. And also, don't buy Christmas trees. Get all the twigs from outside and put them into a bucket. And that is a present from the trees and from the infinite cosmos. And why put those into whatever what people do? I hope not into. I hope they don't burn this. So you can put it in a compost, but why put it anywhere if you can have it in the house and it smells good and it gives good air and it's healing and it's wholesome. So it smells so nice. I love it. I just love it. And I am against cutting any kind of tree. I'm completely against cutting trees. I'm against buying Christmas trees. So I kept telling my parents about this, and then they started to buy Christmas trees in a pot. That didn't work out either because these Christmas trees in the pot, none of them knew how to handle those. They would, one has to know exactly what you're doing, you have to be put into a greenhouse, heated. They have to be implanted when it's like 70 degrees, and back then I knew nothing about this. I planted that outside, and during the winter it didn't make it. So I'm against any of that. Don't buy Christmas trees in pots, and particularly not cut. And when you buy them in pots, you need to know what you're doing. They have to be going into a greenhouse. They have to be implanted into a larger pot later on during the summertime. Don't transplant them during the winter at all, not even in the greenhouse, unless you have a greenhouse that is industrial, large and heated to 70 degrees. So and you have real good fertile composted earth. It's very important. And water them and take really good care of them. But most people don't do that. So that's why I recommend, it costs you nothing if you go out there and after a storm and you pick up all the twigs that have fallen off the trees. That's very important. It's very important to do this and bring that in the house and put that into a bucket or into a cardboard box or into a vase or whatever, however large the amount is. And I just packed every twig that had this, and I cut some of them to the right length, and I stuffed it into that bucket, and it looks and smells and feels fantastic. It doesn't get any better than that. So why have a whole cut off tree? It doesn't make any sense. Why spend money on it? Why log? We need every tree in the ground. Whenever there's a tree growing also on your lawn, don't cut that off and don't move it. Paul has moved one to another location. It didn't make it. So when a tree grows in a specific spot outside, that's the spot it shows. Okay, it does not want to be transplanted. Very important. And let them grow. It's very important. Don't mow over those. Let them grow. All of those needle trees that grow on the lawn, they want to grow there. They don't want to be chopped off. And it just it it's painful to see when someone cut, and Paul has done that several times, chopped off a a tree growing on the lawn, and then there's only this stump left, and then new greenery came out of it, so touching, trying to live, and then he'll cut that off again. It's awful painful for me to see that. Can't stand it. And sometimes he would just yank the entire root out, and the tree wanted to grow there. So it's awful. I don't like that at all. I want to see every sapling grow into a large tree, and I don't even want Paul to cut the lower branches off. Then he thinks that looks better. It doesn't make any sense. We have very different tastes, Paul and I. Very, very different. I have to put up with a lot. Coming from a completely different background, where everything was, that background I'm coming from that's also rare. That is quite rare. Those people are very rare. People that are totally immersed in culture and art and design, and I brought that with me in my head, and I bring this into this living room. But there's so many elements in this living room, like the ceiling fan, for example, that are ungood. Let's put it that way, to say the least, very ungood. So, or for example, it had like embroidery silk curtains when we moved in here, and I fought and fought and fought with him until finally, after 1 year, I got my way through, and I was able to take those off and replace them with just a canvas material. That too is not what I like, that has these blinds underneath. It covers why even have anything? We don't need any curtain on these windows or here on the balcony doors. No, not necessary. Bring the light into the house. Put stickers on the window. Paint something, with acrylic color to prevent birds from flying into it. We can be more creative than that. There are so many creative ways to make things more beautiful, and even it saves the budget on top of it all. When I see the kind of stuff people are spending money on just because it comes out of their convention, it comes out of what they have been told they are supposed to have. It's just mind-boggling, the kind of money they spend on things that someone else tells them that is what you're supposed to have in the house. You're not supposed to have anything in the house. You can have your entire house empty, completely empty, To me, it's a dream to have a completely empty house, to have everything, have no curtain, no blind, no furniture, no cabinets, have nothing in it, just have a completely factory new wall-to-wall rug with triple layer padding underneath, and where your guests, they can just sleep on the rug. They don't need anything else. And where you can do yoga, meditation, it's just amazing, and you can sit on the floor. You can invite many friends. You can all sit on the floor in a circle. You can do meditation and yoga together. I have eaten with people from India once in Switzerland, and we were sitting on the floor. It's also their custom, of course. That is their custom. That is what they have been told again, So, which is very different to what other cultures have been told. Don't do something out of a culture or out of some kind of convention, some kind of peer pressure at all, but do things because it feels good to you. It feels good. And that totally overrides any kind of convention, any kind of religion and dogmatization. Just follow your art. Everyone has that in them. Everyone has that. If you understand that you are much more than what you've been told by your parents. The parents, they do a lot of terrible things to their children out of their own image making. Out of their own image making, they are so busy matching up with the image that they think they have to match up with, that they ignore their children. They don't see their children, they don't feel their children, they don't hear them. They don't hear their needs, okay? They're not one with them. They're like somewhere else in a different room, trying to make selfies, trying to match up with social norms, trying to look like Kim Kardashian. They don't see their child. This is a real shock to the child's brain and nervous system when that happens. That's why I say it's better not to have children. If we are so neurotic and so damaged by our past, we should not have children. It's not a good idea. It just causes more suffering and more suffering. I've been told that I would have made a good mother. I'm a dog mother. The dog mother is the ultimate mother, because dogs are the ultimate mothers. So they're the most loving. My mother called me Mother Hen, so that was Hennenmutter, Kluckenmutter. That's the German word for mother hen. Kluckenmutter, Klucke. That's almost like an insult. Klucke is an insult towards the chicken, to the mother chicken. So that sounds even worse than mother hen. So Kluckenmutter, you Kluckenmutter, like that's something bad. Interesting also. Interesting again. Interesting. Oh gosh. This subject opens cans of worms. It's like society, that is society overall around the whole globe, also in Germany, everywhere, no matter how much they pride themselves or make good products or whatever. The neuroticism is there. The psychological damage is there. Of course it is. It's there in every country around the globe. Okay? And we're all equally damaged. Of course there are some exceptions, some like Bindi and Robert Irwin. I always say they're the ultimate exceptions. They had a good childhood. They had everything. They had love. That's the most important thing there is. So, and I'm sure there are some others, but those people are in the absolute minority. They're like 1 in a million, maybe, who had a really good childhood, where the parents were there for them, saw them, felt them, were one with them in a unity. Okay, that is what I'm telling people to do for their kids. If you have to have a kid, at least be one with that kid. That's all I'm saying. Don't put a kid into this world and continue that suffering. That's what I don't want to see at all. So, but yeah, I consider myself an anti-natalist. I am against breeding. I don't want to put more beings into this world. I think suffering is just wrong. Even in optimal situations, some things can go wrong. Read Dr. David Benatar. He writes about this. He has that real compelling case when he says that things can go right, but the chances that they can go wrong and it causes suffering, that does never weigh off. It's never being weighed off by some happy moments in life. Okay? No happy moment can weigh off the suffering that predated it or that happened before, that all came with the whole package or something. It doesn't. Absolutely. Maybe some people think it does. I don't think it does. I think no suffering is ever justified for anything. Okay. And I also strongly disagree with Eckhart Tolle on this. Okay. And it's very, very dangerous for Eckhart Tolle to put out there to say something so reckless as when he and his wife say that suffering ultimately it brings us, moves us ahead or whatever. It's a good thing to even say these words in conjunction with that. To say these words and make this equivalent with suffering is so incredibly reckless. So it's getting darker outside. But we need to become very crystal clear that every living being is equally precious. That you're all equally precious. You don't have to covet anything. You don't have to desire anything or make yourself into someone else or whatever, because you think then you're going to be loved. It feels so real, or it feels so palpable to you, right? But it's not. It's an illusion. You are already precious. You are there where you are. Thich Nhat Hanh said, you are here, and it's good. You are here, and it is good. Wherever you are, it is good. You don't need to be there because some talk radio has told you, or ExxonMobil told you, or Kim Kardashian lives that life, that jet-setting life you want to live. So I talked to my brother about this. It's so important for people to get this, that my brother actually feels sorry for someone who's poor and can't travel or can't have that jet-setting life, and they're supposed to have that too, and we need to give that to them. Wait a second here. Who says you have to travel? Who says you have to be living your life like that jet setter or that person who prides himself with prestige? Or who says you have to live like this because society tells you this is how you have to look like as a woman with stiletto shoes? Bullshit is that. You don't have to have stiletto shoes on. You can wear comfortable boots. To me, living a comfortable life is so much more fulfilling and sexier too. It's a lot sexier to have feet, and yeah, I showed my feet a couple of times, made outdoor foot massage videos with my feet. You can clearly see you have to scroll way back to find those because I made those during the summertime. But you can clearly see that I pamper my feet. I massage my feet. In the past I used to use Veleda and Dr. Hauschka Foot Balm on my feet, and I also use that as deodorant because it works the best. They have clay. There's clays in it. Now I make all of this myself for much less money, and put even more amazing ingredients. I mean, fill it up even more with rich ingredients. So, because you can do this if you make that yourself. You can put a lot of essential rose oil in it, or Grand Fir essential oil, and all kinds of clays, including white kaolin clay, red kaolin clay, sodium bentonite, calcium bentonite. Can put all of this in. You can put mango butter or waxes into it. You can make amazing stuff out of it. And you can pamper yourself, and it is feels good, it's wholesome, and you put your feet into comfortable boots like MBT. The women MBT boots that they sell, those Tambu boots, I would have spent that kind of money on it. They're like $250 or $300. I would have spent that money if they had fit me, but I have to go to, I need to, as my friends used to always mock me, you have to go to a transvestite store to buy your women girly boots, because this is the thing. My feet are always one size too big. It always stops with women shoe sizes one size before my size. It's kind of like in that fairy tale, like for Cinderella. I don't know if you know that fairy tale. Cinderella has these real petite little feet, and the owl gave her those petite golden shoelies, and she drops one shoolie on the stairs of the prince's castle, and the prince goes out into the community and says, whoever can fit into this shoe is gonna be my bride, because they always like these petite little girlies. So that is also, that's the pixie image of princess. I think that is drastically shifting now. Well, I can only play the mean stepsister who's trying to put her fleshy big foot into the little shoolie, and in one of those, there are different versions of Cinderella. The version that my parents bought me was a bit more horror movie style. So so the envious bigger sister, literally bigger, in everything, big and fleshy, big fat girl with big fat feet. She cut her toes off to fit her foot into the shoe. But then one of the birds, one of the pigeons saw that, and the pigeon said, wait a minute, there's blood in the shoe. And the prince said, thank you for alerting me, now I know this is not the right bride. And so he had to look for a long time until he finally found Cinderella, who fit her feet into it without cutting any toe off. So, but yeah, this is me. I'm not gonna squeeze my foot into a stiletto, into any shoolie, into anything that just because society tells me you're supposed to have this, you're supposed to look like this, your feet are supposed to fit into this blah, blah. Bullshit. If I have to, I will buy my shoes in a transvestite store. And I don't care, I don't care. My feet are not that big. I mean, it's like I have women's size 12 that translate to men's size 11. So I buy men's shoes or buy women's shoes if I can get them large enough, and if they're comfortable and cute, yes. Which occasionally I have done. I have found it. My two MBT shoes are women's. They're women's style, or whatever they call it. They're women's style, and they're women's size 12. So, and they fit perfectly. And MBT also, the shoes are a little bit more roomy, a little bit spacier. So in general, just a notch more spacey, and I like that. I like that very much. MBTs are awesome. But the women MBTs, nah, no, that's not. They are all way too itty bitty. They're like for very petite little girlies. So, and they have awesome boots out there. So if you have small feet, I recommend those because they're comfortable. They have rocker bottom. They are. It's actually. They're actually called MBT, Masai Footwear, MBT, Masai Boot Technology. Yeah, that's what it is. Masai Boot Technology. So they call it Masai because the Masai is the tribe in Africa where they all walk barefoot and they kind of have a rocker bottom naturally. They kind of rock and roll through while they're walking. Very nice. So, and the MBT shoes have like a convex inside and the convex outside as well. So it's kind of like shaped like this, like that, the sole. And it feels like you're just rolling as you walk. And it is the best. They're the best. They're even better than Skechers. Even better than Skechers shape-ups. But they're good too. I have one pair of those too. They're the best. I only buy the most comfortable. Treat yourself to the most comfortable. Okay? Don't wear anything that's uncomfortable just because someone else or the fashion industry has, you know, has their big collection of something that's uncomfortable or has so much leverage in terms of commercial space that they are occupying, you know, in newspapers and magazines and fashion shows and reality shows and so on, just because it has that much leverage over people's brains in terms of advertisement and people falling for it and catering to it, doesn't mean that you have to adapt to that as well. That does not define your femininity, okay? As I said, MBT, they offer incredibly sexy boots for women, but they're comfortable. They have that rocker bottom. They're comfortably shaped. So, for me personally, I would need someone like Elon Musk to work together with to create a completely new shoe. My dream shoe. My dream shoe does not exist yet. And I'm not gonna make a secret out of this. What the dream shoe is, it's very. It first of all, it goes almost without saying what the dream shoe is. The dream shoe has the outline of the Birkenstock, the actual original Birkenstock foot shape, which my feet are actually, and I'm from Germany, so Birkenstocks from Germany. That is the typical average German foot, fleshy and a bit like organ pipe, you know, from little toe to big toe. Big toe much bigger, big toe really big, and then kind of like this, shaped up like this, and then big toe rounded, and so it's kind of like a duck like a duck shape. My mother never liked it because she's always been too influenced by the fashion industry. That was so Birkenstock used to be way trailing behind in terms of fashion. Now it's coming a little closer, but it's good, you know, people catching on. But why do they catch on? Just because someone else says now this is acceptable? No, but in the past it wasn't. So anything anthroposophical was kind of like by most people not accepted. So now it's becoming accepted, like Veleda and Dr. Hauschka, becoming more accepted. And then people buy it because it's more accepted. Now, I have a problem with that. That's why I make these videos, because I want people to choose things that they feel good with. Not because someone else said this is kind of dorky, or, you know, no. Not shy away from a product because it's being looked down on as dorky or as not socially cool enough or not hip enough or not whatever, not hot enough. So throw that all out the window. It doesn't matter. What matters is that it feels good to you and your dog. Okay. Papa Dog blends right into that blanket. It's amazing how Papa Dog blends into the blanket. That is absolutely amazing. That is amazing, Papa Dog. Yeah, very amazing is that. So, yeah, buy things that feel good, that smell good to you. Not because someone else smells, someone you covet smells differently, or someone says whatever they say to men, a man is supposed to be like this, a woman like that. No. Do it the way it feels. You can use your hormones with this. That's okay. Just don't imitate someone else. But don't go overboard and say, oh, because she looks like this, I can't wear this. No. Don't do it. Don't mold yourself, and don't stand in rebellion either. So, you know how it feels on the inside. If you see something that you really like, not because it's some social type of thing, socially accepted, or social stigma. No, because the feel inside, the way it really feels. Does this fit the way it really feels good? No, that's what matters. Not the stiletto or this or that, or even characteristics of mind. That's why I said it opens up a can of worms, the subject. The characteristics of mind even is prescribed to us by social groups and by corporations. Corporations are always big with this. The corporations go so far that they brought out t-shirts for a while to girls that said, I don't care. Or, jackets with that on it. That would say, I don't care. I know that Melania Trump cares. I know she does. I think she was just going through a very hard time. And she got that jacket because she was frustrated with things and hurt, very hurt, about her husband cheating. So that's why she had the jacket. That wasn't meant in a way. She doesn't care about the issues out there. It's people. She cares very deeply about that. No, that had to do with her heart. I'm pretty sure of this. I see these things. She cares. She was just hurt about her husband cheating. So, but she should have known that she should have known that he is a very sought after guy. And there will be all kinds of women after him. There will be all kinds of women that are available, and there are hookers that are paid by ExxonMobil to make him look bad. All these things are coming at him. So, and he has a God level soul, no, angel level soul, but that doesn't make him less human. He's still human. He's still a man, and he has hormones. And all the other men out there, they would, in a heartbeat, do anything that Bill Clinton did or Donald Trump does, having fun, with their hormones. They would do all of this. And they would also cross the line, Most people even cross the line into something that is not ethical, while Bill Clinton and Donald Trump stay in the realm of ethical. But the other people out there, they're shouting at them because they want to do that too, but they don't have the opportunity because they don't know that many people, they don't come across that many people, they're not seen by the public like this in that amount. So for any good-looking man who has charisma, who's in the public, who is seen by a lot of women, naturally there'll be a lot of women standing in line. Okay, that's how it works. Okay, that doesn't mean that we now have to be mad at them, we have to slander them, or we have to believe slander from ExxonMobil against them, or that they're being framed also, they're being set up. It doesn't mean that we have to believe all of this and be mad at them because we can't have what they have or whatever. So whoever that is, whether that is Donald Trump or Melania or Ivanka or Scarlett Johansson or whoever these people are, that other people are coveting and wanting to imitate because they think that they should have that too. So I was talking to my brother about this, and I think this is so important that people realize. That's when my brother said I talk like Jonathan Miese, but Jonathan Miese talks like this because he wants to bring the message across to the world that everyone is equally precious and that everyone can bring out their artist in them. Everyone can, but they don't put their inner artist first. That's what he's trying to teach us, tell us to look inside and see. People are too busy bringing their artist out. That comes at the 99th level or whatever. In the garage. It should be on the number 1 level. Number 1 or number 2 maybe. Love first, but art is love. So love first and then art. Bring it out. Bring out your inner artist. Very important. And so I said to my brother, why do these people need to imitate the jet setter lifestyle and spend a whole bunch of money that they get from the government for SSI so that they can imitate a wasteful lifestyle? Why not do a lifestyle that is in tune with the earth, in tune with their own bodies? Not drinking, not wearing stiletto, not doing surgery, not drinking coffee, not putting toxins into them at any time of the year. Drink mineral water on New Year's Eve and see how amazing that feels. Okay, you don't need to put anything toxic. Any amount of alcohol is toxic. This is a fact. This is a medical fact. People need to know this. Any kind of toxin, including the pharma industry, that they'll be nitpicking on the amount of black cohosh people drink tea of, which is a natural plant. Of course, there are plants we shouldn't drink too much of it, but the pharma industry nitpicking on black cohosh when they are selling to you the stuff that's really toxic. Ooh, there's a huge double standard happening here. That's why wake up with this. Become aware. Become aware what the pharma industry is doing. They have no right in the world to nitpick on any plant and any herb, but they do it because the herbs are their competitors. They don't want people to take the herbs. They'll nitpick the herbs and slander the herbs so that people will come back to them and take the real toxic stuff because they have patented and they can make money on the clients. That's how it works. Become aware about all of this. It's very important to become aware about it. Question these things, question all of these things, and question anyone who will worship anyone. Worshipping has to be banned. Ban worshiping inside of yourselves. Don't worship anyone. No one is above you. Okay? You are equally precious to anyone out there. We're all equally precious. And you can bring out the artists, and like I said to my brother, they can, instead of imitating a jet setter lifestyle, they can go to a Dollar Tree store or 99-cent store. They can get a box of Play-Doh. Bring that home. That doesn't cost very much. It costs $1, or maybe in other countries it will cost that what is equivalent to the dollar. And they will get this. They can afford it. Most people can afford it. And they bring it home, and they let their child come out, let their artist come out and make something with it, a sculpture. Let it dry, get some cheap paints. Amazon sells paints from, I think they're called Applebee is the company. They sell you smaller amount of acrylic indoor decorating, but they made it a little thicker for artistry. Yeah. So artist acrylic paint, high gloss, already super colors, super. You can get all the basic colors. The basic colors are yellow, blue, and red and white. Those are the 4 base colors. Kind of like what you have in your printer. You have the base colors. You have this kind of like a magenta red. You have a blue, a yellow. And out of that, every color, including black, mixes. In the printer, you don't need white because you can't print white on. You already print on white paper. So, but in the artist world, you get white paint, you get yellow paint, blue paint, and red paint. And from that, you can make any color you desire. You feel like mixing up. Okay. You can get little containers like from TV dinners, or like you wash your little containers of plastic that you normally throw away. You can mix the colors in that. Would be good to have a lid on those as well. Yeah. So sometimes you can buy small Tupper containers with the lids. Rubbermaid makes great ones, for example. And you can make your own colors, and then you paint that sculpture in the way you like it. Not because you saw someone else make it and they described to you how to make it. Forget about that. It's a disadvantage to even see anyone else do something that you observe. Make it from your own, the way it really feels good to you. You make your art. That's also how you want to dress. That's also, you also want to dress according to your health, but be creative in a way that comes from within yourself, not from someone else. Okay. So just remember, we are all equally precious. Very important to know that. Take care.